Pulling that up, and damn, what a race, guys. That was amazing and heart-wrecking, and a lot of emotions in this race at the Sakhir Grand Prix. So let's get right into the video. Last week we had the race on the same track, but in the old track it was a dip in the middle and the final sector was like this, and the race today was just the top edge of the track. If I can show the graphics, I would. So the big news for this weekend is Lewis Hamilton is COVID positive and is quarantined. So George Russell came up from Williams to take his place. Jack Aitken came up and took George Russell's place. Pietro Fittipaldi came up and took Romain Grosjean's place after his crash last weekend. So a lot of new people on this track, and the weekend started normally with qualifying was not that far off as we expected, because in the end of Q3, Valtteri was P1, Russell was P2 and Max Verstappen was P3, and the gap from P1 to P3 was 0.05 seconds. So Russell was going to be happy being a tenth or two behind Valtteri, but this is less than half a tenth between the top three. So it was an amazing drive from Russell, being the first time in a Mercedes car. He has had the Mercedes engine behind the Williams, but that car is shit right now. So this is a leading winning car that is sat down for the first time with very little practice. So it was an amazing effort from George Russell, and kudos to him. And like Toto said when Russell came into F1, that he is championship material, and he really is showing that. And with the performance that he put on the Saturday, he could definitely come ask Toto for a seat in a Mercedes and endanger Valtteri and Lewis's seat. But that's me going too forward, and we don't know what will happen. But let's start with the race, and it was quite a normal warm-up, and we were expecting it to be about a two-stop race, and the lap here was less than a minute, so around 58 seconds, and it was an 87 lap race, so it was about 90 minutes long if everything would have run normally, but it didn't. Surprisingly, a lot of the races we had this year always had a first lap incident, and this race was not an exception. At turn 1, George Russell from P2 took the lead. I really cheered when that happened, and then it went to shit. Leclerc came steaming down the inside and hit Perez at the rear. Perez spun around, Leclerc hit the wall. Max Verstappen wanted to avoid them, got into a gravel trap, couldn't turn the car, couldn't slow down the car. He hit the wall, he's out of the race. Both of these were the championship contenders for P3 and below were out, and Perez, who was spun around, was 18th at the end of lap 1. This is really important for the rest of the race, so please bear with me. So we get the safety car here. So Russell leading, Valtteri, safety car at the front, Mercedes 1, 2 and 3. Mercedes safety car, Mercedes Russell, Mercedes Valtteri. So this went on for around 6 laps while they recovered the other two cars, and then the restart, Russell nailed the restart again with staying in front of Valtteri and not allowing Valtteri to gain over him. And there were so many overtaking there that I have noted them down because I can't remember them from heart. So Norris takes Vettel for P9 in lap 8, then Albon and Perez take Vettel in P10 and P11 after 2 more laps. Albon and Perez take Norris for P9 and P10 on lap 21. After this, the first pit stops for the soft runners started to happen, and it was pretty normal right here. And then Perez also overtook Albon for P9 on lap 21, and here is where the interesting mind games started, because Russell was starting to ask his team, who was Bono, about what Valtteri was doing, and if Valtteri was using curbs a lot more, because he was not using the curbs and losing time there. So this was a good strategic mindset that Russell has already, asking about his teammates, asking what time he's doing, asking where he can improve. And this is communication that always goes through, because the drivers have to keep talking to the engineers, because they are out of the loop for a lot of the stuff, because all they can see is this from the car and the corners here and there. And Mercedes was not seeing as much degradation on the medium, so they were pushing the target of the first pit stop ahead and ahead. First they said it was going to be 9 laps more, then they said it was going to be 20 laps more. So around lap 40 was the pit stop that they were going to happen, and as Russell was in the lead, he would be the one to stop first, because that's how Mercedes works. The lead car gets the preferential strategy, and okay, I agree, that's normal. So let's go forward. Russell pits. Valtteri pits 2 laps later, and Valtteri lost a lot of time there. And Valtteri was already 8 seconds behind George Russell. So it was looking like a flawless race from Russell, and I was commending him for his driving, but I don't know what it was or what jinx I put on him, because Mercedes went batshit crazy after this. So at lap 55, we had our second incident where Latifi goes and parks his car at turn 8 and retires. So this was again a virtual safety car where Mercedes did not pit here and the others pit, and they were unlucky people, if I may say that, like Sainz and Ricciardo, who just entered the pits while the virtual safety car ended, and they lost some time to the competitors, and it was sad and it was confusing and a lot of different strategies, so a lot of overtakes were happening, and it's a short track and 3 straights, so you can overtake on 3 straights with 2 straights having DRS. Then on lap 62 was the third incident where everything changed. I mean, everything changed. So this was Jack Aitken at the final corner, and he just went and clipped the barrier like Albon did last weekend and took out his front wing, and the front wing was right in the path of the racing line. So they had to bring out the safety car there so that marshals would come and remove the debris and the wing from the track. And this was a Mercedes double stop that was going to happen because of this, and Russell came in pit. They took out his tires, put him on mediums, set him out. Valtteri came in, they removed Valtteri's tires, put back Russell's old tires on Valtteri's car, and there was a lot of confusion there, and they had to remove again Russell's tires, put back Valtteri's old tires, send him out, then bring back Russell in the next lap because they had a mix set that was too mismatched wheels or what more, I don't remember, so he had to pit again. And as Valtteri was already P5 in the previous lap, Russell came out P6 behind the safety car, so they were P1 and P2.
And with all of this happening, Perez was P1, Ocon P2, Stroll P3, Sainz P4, Bottas P5 and Russell P6 behind the safety car. And again, Perez was P18 at the end of lap 1, and with his changed strategy, he was P1 and leading the race. This was the first time Perez was P1, and he was on going to a first podium win for Perez and the first podium for Ocon in P2, so it was a big deal for them. But Mercedes were there behind with all their mistakes and everything, and this was not the end of the bad luck for Mercedes. So I have the overtakes that happened. So on lap 70, Russell goes P4 and overtook Bottas. Then Russell went to P3, overtook Stroll. Then Russell went to P2 and overtook Ocon on lap 73. And it was slowly starting to groove. And Bottas was also on older tires. So on lap 78, Sainz took Bottas for P5. Lap 78, Ricciardo took Bottas for P6. Lap 79, Albon takes Bottas for P7. Lap 79, Kvyat takes Bottas for P8. And then again on lap 79, Russell has a puncture, so he had to pit again for the red mark softs and comes out P15, the places where he's usually in when he's in the Williams, not in the Mercedes. This really angered me because of the botch up that Mercedes do. They didn't have to pit Russell when the safety car came in. He could have put an executive order like Lewis does and tell them not to pit, but Russell does not have the experience or the mind and know how to do that. But Valtteri could also have done that, but Valtteri also didn't. That is what enrages me, because if I imagine Lewis was in the same position, he would have told the team not to pit him and stayed out on the old tires, and it would have been a win. But that's just me thinking of positives and not addressing and accepting the fact that it happened. So Russell is P15 on lap 79, and he has 8 laps left to get into the points for his fastest lap to matter. By this time I'm just done. I even stopped taking notes after this point because the race was over in my hands. There was nobody competing in the lead. Nobody was competing with Perez because Perez was 8 seconds ahead. Ocon and Stroll were bickering a bit, but Stroll could not overtake Ocon for the longest time, so I did not think that would happen. So in the end, Perez P1, Ocon P2 and Stroll P3. Perez had a deserving P1 win after the loss of P3 last weekend where his engine blew up. Ocon coming P2 for the first time in his life as well, and Stroll already has experience of the podium. So we have 2 new winners in this year. So we had Pierre Gasly winning in Monza for the first time in his life, and we have Perez winning here in the Sakhir Grand Prix. So I have a power lineup that I'm going to do at the end of the season, like 2 weeks later, about which are the best engines that have won podiums and everything, and I'll break down all the specs, the records that have happened throughout this season. So get subscribed to my channel right here. And yeah, that was the interesting Sakhir Grand Prix, and it was not that exciting off the track because it's just 3 straights and a bit of a wiggly part at the top. It was more like an oval, like a NASCAR track or an Indy 500 track, but boy, it was entertaining. There was never a dull moment because somebody or the other would be overtaking on the straight and on the second straight and on the third straight, even without DRS at times. So if they incorporate the Sakhir Grand Prix again in the future years, it would be a lovely addition if there are shortage of races that couldn't happen because of the ongoing situation that we are having now, because it can change at any moment. So let's hope we have Sakhir again, but it's highly unlikely, so it will be a one-off type of race this weekend. So that's it for this weekend. So it was an interesting race, and if you get the chance of watching this race, please go watch the race. And I didn't even wait for the podium ceremonies to finish before I started recording this video. I just waited for the drivers' interviews that I wanted to listen to them, and I just closed the lid and started recording because I can watch the podium ceremonies later, and I'm just babbling and extending the video, which is an unnecessary thing. So I'll end this video here, and if you like this video, give this video a like, get subscribed to my channel for more of my content, and ring the bell icon to get notified about my new videos. Follow me on my social media channels, and stay home, stay safe. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.